Bear with their spots here at Soldier Field. An important early season game. Bears up 2-0. Vikings at 1-1. This is very important.
Well, it is, Tim, but Jerry Burns last put things in perspective when he told us he's in his Viking team in here with the intention of having a balanced offensive attack. He wants to run the ball 50% of those, of course, King Hurst and Walker. He wants that off for sometimes. Don't forget, and Mike told he won't put the ball on the ground. Now, Anderson told me during the pregame warm-up he's coming in this game with bruised ribs, so he may have some trouble getting going this afternoon. In my view, I think the difference is going to be a quarterback play. It's always that way. So it's still going to be Wade Wilson against Jim Harbaugh, both supported with outstanding defensive efforts.
Well, the Bears are going to receive the ball first, Irv, and it'll be Donald Igwe-Buike kicking to these two young men, Dennis Gentry and Johnny Bailey, the exciting young rookie on the Bears' return squad. Igwe-Buike, the Nigerian who came from the Tampa Bay Bucks and has done awfully well in his first couple of games with the Vikings, as Rich Carlos continues to be a holdout over there. And we are underway. Gentry from the end zone will bring it out. To the 45-yard line in Minnesota, Dennis Gentry, and he started 5 yards deep. Reggie Rutland finally got him.
Outstanding kickoff return, Tim. You see the Webs blocking up front. The special teams do a good job picking off their respective defenders, and Gentry right now uses great open field running ability. Gets that ball upfield. That's a tremendous play.
58 yards, and the Bears with great field position to open the game. Jim Harbaugh, the quarterback. Muster and Anderson, the running back, in the eye. Bill Anderson tripped up behind the line of scrimmage, got about 2. Good tackle on the play. Chris Dolman making the hit. Jim Harbaugh, the second-year man in terms of his full-time career as a Bear quarterback, with this offensive line: Covert, Bort, Hilgenberg, Thayer, Van Horn, and Jim Thornton at the tight end. Anderson and Muster starting. Davis and Morris, the wide receivers. Early second. And about 8. A long 8, closer to 9. With a good defensive play by Dolman, upsetting Anderson on the first play. Muster inside to the 40-yard line of the Vikings. Gain of about 3, close to 4. Henry Thomas made the tackle, number 97. In Minnesota defensively, a great front. Noga, Thomas, Millard, and Dolman. Linebackers, Ray Berry for the injured Deuce Bobick on the left side. Studwell and Merriweather off to a great start on the right side. Carl Lee, Rutland on the corners. Joey Browner, an all-pro. Darrell Fullington, the safety.
Let's go, Browns!
Vikings Jerry Burns, knowing the significance of this game. It has a 2-game swing since they're playing each other in the Central Division. The first of a home-and-home matchup for the season. Third down. Harbaugh. All the way inside the 25-yard line to the 24 of Minnesota.
Good judgment on Harbaugh's part with shotgun position, trying to hit the short flat here. Everybody's covered. Now, Floyd Peters, the defensive coordinator of the Vikings, says Jim Harbaugh is like having a 12th player on the field. You can't account for him on a defensive scheme. When he runs, we could be in trouble.
So Jim Harbaugh, who does like to run, but is being asked to be a little bit more conservative, found the opening there and gets the first down and has the Bears inside the 25. First down, Chicago, opening drive of the football game.
So much for coach's game plans, right? Ditka told us he wanted to keep the ball on the ground today and have maintained ball control. First down, what did he do? He throws the ball to Muster. It's a fairly safe pass to throw, though, because it's almost like a run.
On the 10-yard line, Bears first down. Opening minutes of play at Soldier Field in Chicago. tackles for about 4 yards. He'll be at the 6-yard line of Minnesota when they spot the ball. Middle of that Vikings front, Scott Studwell, the linebacker, helping out Henry Thomas, the tackle, on the play, stopping Neil Anderson. Had a good afternoon last week. Now has 172 yards in 2 games rushing and has caught 9 passes. Chris Dolman waiting for Jim Covert to come out and renew their battle, which will be a good one all day long. On second down, Hustler inside, batters his way to about the 3-yard line. Darrell Fullington coming up from the safety spot, number 29, to get in on the tackle. And Browner there again, number 47.
Tim, Browner, the big defensive back. Of course, Mustard coming upfield for the Bears in that last play, but Browner was about 225 pounds. He could play a position almost like a linebacker, and oftentimes the Minnesota Vikings will bring him up to the line of scrimmage just like a linebacker, as he did in that play, and stop those plays. It's very difficult to account for an offensive blocking team. That's where he lines up now.
Third down, they need to get just inside the 1 for a first down. Cap Boso is in. 2 tight ends in for the Bears, and Mustard blasts through into the end zone. Touchdown. So Dennis Gentry's 58-yard kickoff return, setting up this opening series. It finished this way.
Pratt coming off his left guard. Well-conceived play series, though, Tim. Right from the very onset of their offensive drive. Mixing up their plays, first down, throwing the ball, now down inside the 1-yard line, running a trap for the touchdown.
A penalty flag behind the line of scrimmage on the play. We will not say it was a late call, but the flag was
Illegal formation. Number 74 on the end of the line. 5 yards. Repeat third down.
Well, that touchdown comes off the board. Jim Covert was uncovered on the left side.
Tim, he has to be an 80 or a 2 number when he's at. That doesn't have the right number. The left end right here has to report to the official and say, I'm not the guy who normally plays this spot. My number is 74, not 84. Can I play there? And he has to have permission for the official to do it. Apparently, he didn't check in with the official. Well, that's an oversight.
A costly oversight indeed, as the 6 points comes off the board. And instead, it is third down for the Bears. And they're going to spot it at the 8-yard line. Just outside the 8, 37. Now that is the kind of mental error that drives Mike Dick to Daffy.
It could also be very costly for the Bears. When you're down here inside the 10-yard line, that field shrinks in a hurry. Ditka knows that as well as his offensive team, and a great defense like this makes it very difficult to get in there.
Muster and Anderson still the running back. Short drop from Harbaugh, gets the ball off, and is caught. The good defensive work, Reggie Rutland, dropping the receiver, Ron Morris, as soon as he caught the ball. Pickup of only a couple on the play. So the touchdown will now more likely turn into a field goal as Kevin Butler is on the field. Jerry Fontenot will be snapping the ball. Tom Zach, the backup quarterback, will be the holder. And they'll spot the ball at the 13-yard line, just outside the 13. Butler, as you see, 2 of 3 in the first 2 games of the season. A 23-yard try. And Butler nails it. So the Chicago Bears have a very good opening drive, but a miscue deep takes a touchdown off the board, and they lead 3-0. 9:52 to go, first quarter. So look at Lake Michigan. We're at Soldier Field in Chicago, where the Bears took the opening drive down for 3 points, which should have been a 6 because they had Muster in the end zone. But there, the man on your left, Jimbo Covert, failed to tell the officials that he was lined up uncovered out on the left side.
It's really too bad, too, Tim, because Jim's been around a long time. He's an experienced offensive lineman. He knows his job is to report to the referee when he goes into a position that is not his normal tackle position. He was lined up as a tight end, didn't report, got the penalty. Saying, gee, how could you be so silly and missed the call, missed that responsibility.
Getting some sympathy from Keith Van Horn there, we assume, but it was a 39-yard drive after Gentry's 58-yard kickoff return. Butler's 23-yard field goal for the points and using up 5:08 on the clock. The flag did come down very late after Musser was in the end zone. The flag flew and the penalty was assessed. So Butler will kick it off. Deepest man is Herschel Walker, but it's a switch kick and it comes down at the 24-yard line. Brought out by Cedric Smith, the rookie fullback number 30 out of Florida in the 5th round, and Wade Wilson will bring out the Viking offense. What a start he has had. 6 touchdown passes in 2 games for Wilson. Gary Zimmerman, Randall McDaniel, Chris Foote, Craig Wolfley for the injured Todd Kalis, Tim Irwin, and Steve Jordan, the tight end. Walker and Clark, the running back, Carter and Jones, 2 dangerous receivers. Walker on first down for close to 5 yards. Singletary there, number 50. And Mark Carrier, the rookie, number 20. Trace Armstrong, William Perry, Dan Hampton, and Richard Dent. There is a real rivalry against that Vikings front four. Rivera, Singletary, and Morrissey, the starting linebackers. And Wolford and Stinson on the corners. Sean Gale and Mark Carrier are the safeties. Second down and 5, Vikings. Walker broke 1 tackle, got through Ron Rivera, and turns it into a first down at midfield. Donnell Wolford finally got him.
Herschel Walker is extremely effective from the I formation. That's his favorite set. And one reason for it, Tim, is that he has the ability to stand deep and see the entire field. He's a great back at coming off tackle and cutting off when his shoulders are square to the line of scrimmage. And the Vikings are now featuring in that kind of a formation.
Well, they're featuring him as frequently as they can get him the football. If you listen to Tom Moore, the new offensive boss of the Vikings, and that's something that they felt was not done a year ago when he came over in the big trade from Dallas. Wilson on play action. Deep. Interception. Lemuel Stinson has the first of 2 interceptions he is planning for the day. This guy, Irv, is becoming quite a story.
Certainly is. He told us before the game he expected to pick off 2 interceptions. They're in single coverage here. Wade Wilson trying to flag him off, and Stinson didn't go for it. Stayed with the receiver all the way. Great coverage. Picking up the ball and coming up for the interception. The Bears again putting heat on Wilson. Had to get rid of it. Throwing out of a well.
Well, they asked Mike Ditka if he was worried about Stinson making these predictions he's been doing the first 3 weeks. Said the Bears don't start fires, we put them out. Smokey the Bear puts out fires. He says if you're big enough to say something, he's big enough to back it up. So far, Stinson is. Anderson on first down. About 8 yards. Well, there he is. They call him Lemonhead. Apparently his former secondary coach, Jim LaRue, gave him that nickname. He doesn't mind it. Lemuel, Lemonhead, close enough.
Very likable young man. Great smile. He's a youngster, and he's seeing the big time for the first time, but he's very confident, too. He told me before the game, hey, Herb, I'm going to get 2. Well, he has 1 so far.
He took the job away from Bessie Jackson, who had been the starter here the past couple of years. Stinson just worked his way into the lineup, and at 5'9" and 160 pounds thereabouts, he has become a vocal starter, a fun guy, and he's got the early turnover for the Bears. Keith Van Horn, slightly shaken up on the last play. Number 78 comes off. And earlier, Irv had a chance to ask Lemuel Stinson about what he thought had happened here today. And we're going to show you this young man. You'll hear from him because he's quite a character. Second down and about a yard for the Bears. Anderson. He'll be close to first down. Well, let's go back and hear from Lemuel Stinson talking with Irv just before the game.
My prediction for today is we get 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions for myself. I'm going to put Darnell and Sean Gale off in that too. They'll get interceptions too. So is Carey.
Well, if they all get their interception, they're going to wind up with 5. He covered the rest of his teammates there. Wilford and Carrier as well, along with Sean Gale. First down there. Harbaugh runs it for about 3. Good coverage downfield by the Vikings secondary, and Harbaugh took off. Merriweather forced him out.
Tim, as he talked to Harbaugh yesterday, he was telling us he didn't want to take any chances with the ball. We have a great defense. We want to establish a running game. I'm a young quarterback. I'm seeing more every week. I'm still learning, but he has tremendous instinct to when to bring that ball down and go with it. And you really don't mind watching him run with the football. He's a pretty good runner.
Well, they've got 2 yards on the play. It'll leave 2nd and 8 for the Bears at their own 42-yard line. Thornton, the tight end, in motion. They come back the other way with Anderson, and Anderson pushed through and dives for a pickup of about 3 over the 45-yard line of the Bears. You can see the flak jacket under Anderson's jersey there. Clearly the Bears didn't want to let anybody know that Anderson was hurting, but you had a chance to talk to him before the game hurt.
Yeah, I asked him how his ribs were, Tim, and he told me that it's not a bruise. What it is the cartilage problem. He says more severe than a bruise. And I'm going to go as long as I can. And, if I can't do it, I'll just pull myself out. But it's my call. I'm going to go as long as I can. Right now, he said, I feel pretty good, but I'm sore. We'll see what happens.
2 touchdowns last week against the Packers. Had a big day. Gentry comes in on the 3rd down. And it's Gentry 29 in motion. Harbaugh with time. Pumps once, now runs out of time. And it is Thomas, Henry Thomas, dropping him. And that'll bring up 4th down. So Henry Thomas does the job defensively. The least talked about, but equally productive member of that front 4.
The thing is, the Vikings are telling us, Tim, if they got the Bears in a 3rd and long situation, that's what we want. We want to be able to spread out, let our linemen go, run some stunts, put some heat on Jim Harbaugh, and that's where he was, and they nailed it.
Ira Hillary, a Plan B acquisition from Cincinnati, is back to receive the punt. Maury Buford standing at his own 27-yard line. Line drive punt from Buford. Hillary at his 14, away from the first man, and out of bounds up near the 25-yard line of the Vikings. So we have 4:30 remaining. First quarter, Bears lead 3-0. Brian and Herb Cross at Soldier Field in Chicago. You're looking at the Bears bench and the offensive line there. There's Keith Van Horn, who left for a play with a little bit of a nick, and John Wojciechowski came in for him. Lots more football ahead on CBS today. Game 2 of our doubleheader, you'll see either Atlanta at San Francisco, the Super Bowl champs, or you'll see the Philadelphia Eagles, much in the news as always. At an 0-2 start, they'll be in Los Angeles against the Rams. Coming up next here on CBS Sports. First down Vikings from their own 25-yard line following the Bears' 44-yard punt. Walker breaks 1 tackle and picks up close to 5 yards as he got away from big Twidge Perry. William Perry had a hand on him but couldn't bring Walker down. 5-yard gain for Herschel. Last week had 39 yards on the ground. Had 107 over 2 games and 10 catches. Caught 5 passes last week and had a touchdown. On 2nd down, he runs out of time. Wilson sacked by Trace Armstrong. The second-year man from Florida. 5 sacks on the season for this young guy.
Trace Armstrong, Tim, is having an outstanding season already in this young year for the Chicago Bears. Here's a little game going. Armstrong going inside, and Fridge, really, 72, takes the offensive tackle outside to allow Armstrong to come in for the sack. So give Armstrong a whole sack and the refrigerator an assist.
That leaves third down and about 13. Clark and Walker now in a pro set. Wilson's pass incomplete, intended for Chris Carter, the recent acquisition from the Eagles. As he was one of the final cuts over there, and a little jawing going on between McDaniel and Hampton.
I would guess that somewhere along the line, Hampton probably thought McDaniel was holding, but it really wasn't. He was staying with his block. Hampton trying to get rid of him, and McDaniel didn't like it. These two people just going back. Hampton says, "I'll be back. I'll be back."
Harry Newsom will punt it away for the Vikings. And it is Dennis Gentry standing at the 30-yard line of the Bears. Newsom replacing Bucky Scribner this year as the punter, came over from Pittsburgh. And he gets it dandy away. Line drive shot, Bailey rather, back for the punt return. And Bailey all the way to the 40-yard line of the Vikings. Odds Ray McMillan made the stop, and if he hadn't gotten him there, the rookie might have gone the distance. Johnny Bailey from Texas A&I. And a flag, however, downfield. And it is against Chicago. Holding on the return. So another outstanding return by the Bears, and this one is going to come back up.
Holding during the return. Number 52, Chicago, 10 yards. It'll be first down.
Mickey Pruitt charged with the holding, according to referee Jim Tunney. And we have 2:39 to go here in the first quarter. The Bears continue to lead it 3-0. And with Irv Cross at Soldier Field, and a good return by rookie Johnny Bailey wiped out a holding call against Mickey Pruitt. The ball spotted at the 31-yard line, first down. And Keith Millard, eager to get going against this Bear offensive line, put some pressure on the rookie Harbaugh. I keep calling him a rookie, but his first full season as a starter with the Bears. He has to win the lead. Harbaugh out for Muster, off his hands, incomplete. Jim Harbaugh, the number 1 pick back in 1987, and in a battle with Tomczak most of last year. This year, Mike Ditka says he is my starter, although when pressed, he will say, I have 2 starters, Harbaugh and Tomczak. But usually, it's prudent to have only one out on the field at any one time, and so far it's been Harbaugh.
Well, Tim, I think he says that because when the preseason ended, their stats were fairly similar. But his gut feeling said, okay, I'll go with Harbaugh. I think I should go that way, and there he is.
2nd and 10. Near the 35-yard line, about a 4.5-yard pickup. But Anderson, sore ribs and all, has been kept busy in the early going. Studwell on the stop.
He said he would go as far as he could, though, Tim. And, yeah, he's a gutsy guy. He told me that this is going to be a blood and guts kind of game. And, you know, it's a black and blue division. You hear that. That's pretty much traditional here with Chicago and Minnesota. But he expected it to be a hard-hitting game. He didn't want to miss it. If there's any way he could play for the Bears, he'd be in uniform, and he's carrying the load once again.
Dennis Gentry comes in on 3rd down and lines up in the wing, and now back in the shotgun with Harbaugh and Anderson. Low snap. Harbaugh, good recovery, and the pass incomplete for Wendell Davis. Looked as though Harbaugh maybe didn't get a good grip on the ball there that time, as he had to dig out the low snap.
The Vikings did a pretty good job in the secondary coverage. If you're in nickel coverage, Harbaugh from the shotgun can't find anybody open, and all you have to do is just give this Viking defensive line a half a count, and I'll tell you, they're there. You put a lot of pressure on them through an errant pass.
Ira Hillary awaiting the punt from Buford. Hillary standing at his 25-yard line. Hillary, a 4-year man out of South Carolina, coming over from the Bengals as a Plan B free agent this year, and see some time at wide receiver as well. Buford's high punt Be a little bit short. Comes down at the 33. Is down there by Maurice Douglas. And they'll spot it close to the 35-yard line. So we have 1:33 remaining first quarter. It is still a 3-0 game for the Bears. Himself, Mike Ditka. The Chicago Bears leading 3-0, 1:33 to go. And in this first quarter, the Vikings have had only 6 offensive plays with less than 2 minutes to play. The Bears have had the ball 9:55 compared to only 3:32 in time for the Vikings. Wade Wilson 0 for 2, the one interception by Lemuel Simpson. And it is first down Minnesota, just inside their own 35. And eager Richard Dent was in the backfield before the ball came up. Raised his hands and said guilty. Flags everywhere. See whether he was drawn or not.
False start.
Well, he was.
Offense 64, still first down.
He wasn't saying guilty. He was raising his hands in exultation. The penalty is against McDaniel.
Brandon McDaniel, the left tackle, number 64 there, rocks back a little bit. Now, Dent's up in a 2-point stance in a linebacker position, getting ready to rush. McDaniel felt his presence, rocked back, and drew everybody offside.
And you can see his hand come off the ground. That brought Dent over. So it's first and 15. Walker runs right into Ron Rivera. Picked up about 3 on the play. Rick Finney is in the game at fullback with Walker.
Tim, Richard Dent told us that he had to talk to our defensive coordinator to get him into playing a linebacker position because everybody keyed on him on the defensive line. Here he is standing up in a position where he can pursue freely and not be attacked by that Viking offensive line. Makes the play on the other side of the field. The big guy coming across here is a linebacker now, standing up, tackling Walker because he is free.
Second and 12. It was interesting hearing Dent talking about how he talked the coach and pulled him into that. Pressure on Wilson. Good piece of running by Wade Wilson. About a yard short of the first down. Wade Wilson, who, like Harbaugh, is a pretty good runner.
Tim, Wilson seeing a defense he's not familiar with. Again, we've got Richard Dent standing up as a linebacker. See him, number 95. The Bears then are going into a single coverage with a defensive back clamping down, doubling their outside people. Wilson can't find his wide receiver open, and is also finding an extra large linebacker in there, number 95. He didn't expect to see.
He just got away from Trace Armstrong, and it was Singletary who finally stopped him. It's less than a yard to go. Third down at the 44 of Minnesota. Dent, interception. Laterals the ball forward. Flag is down. The Bears, I believe, maintain possession. Irv, isn't it so frequently a guy makes a great play, then tries to do too much with it. Dent nearly coughed it up.
Illegal forward pass. Illegal forward pass.
Richard Dent's having a sensational day. Down in a 3-point stance in the defensive end position. He's been causing havoc. He's standing up in the middle linebacker position. Now, there's a defensive end on the pass rush. Bats the ball up in the air, makes an interception. That's an illegal forward lateral there. But the Bears will get the ball because of Dent's brilliant play. There it is, batting it up now. Let's get it at its highest point. Now become a running back, big guy. Oh, boy. That's pretty cool. That's a forward pass.
Morrissey did a good job to keep possession of the ball for the Bears. And a great play by Richard Dent, despite nearly losing the ball back to the Vikings. And we've come to the end of the first quarter with the score, the Bears 3, the Vikings nothing.
Places worldwide. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by Federal Express for documents, packages, and freight. Federal Express, the best way to ship it over there.
Tim Ryan and Irv Cross, we are at Soldier Field in Chicago, completing the first quarter. The Bears on top, 3-0. It's been an eventful quarter, Irv.
Defensive play the way expected to be, but the Bears had a slight edge on special teams.
And 2 big interceptions. Harbaugh going deep, and that is incomplete. Intended for Wendell Davis. Reggie Rutland had the coverage. And another flag down back at the line of scrimmage. The penalty will be against Chicago. Referee Jim Tunney.
Tim, in that first quarter, we expected great defensive play out of both
Illegal motion. 2 men on the offense were moving. The penalty is declined. It'll be second down.
And we had that. There's a defensive leader of the Vikings right there, Floyd Peters, my old ex-teammate from Philadelphia. But the special teams area was a big area in that first quarter. The Bears had a decided edge in special teams. And of course, the turnover area. They took out a couple of interceptions. That made the difference in the game. But you had a touchdown and took it off the board. That's going to come back to hurt them.
So it is second down, second and 10. The Vikings decline the penalty. And Anderson gets back about 4 yards. Again, some more conversation downfield. Jim Thornton into it with a couple of the Viking defenders. So temper's starting to flare a little bit here in this rivalry that goes back to 1961. And all of the players out there realizing the significance of this game, even though it's the third week of the NFL season. A 2-game swing at stake here in the standings in the Central Division. Third down, Bears. They go to the shotgun. Quinton Smith, an extra wide receiver, number 85 on the field. Deep for Smith for Wendell Davis, and it is incomplete. Coverage by Michael Brim, number 44, running stride for stride with Wendell Davis. And the Bears will have to punt. No. Well, it looks like they may, with this prevailing wind having picked up to 21 degrees, they're going to try a field goal. Butler will tee it up at the 41-yard line, a 51-yard attempt. His long of the season, a 47-yarder. He does have the wind behind him. And it's good. A 51-yard field goal by Kevin Butler, and the Bears lead 6-0. And Irv Cross here at Soldier Field. And in the second quarter, the Bears leading 6-0. A 51-yard field goal by Kevin Butler. I thought they'd punt there, but the wind has come up by about 10 degrees. Now, here's what's happened so far. Imagine Wade Wilson with the start he's had this season. He's 0 for 3 here.
I'm really surprised because they expected to be able to throw the ball fairly well against the Bears, and he's come up so far with a goose egg. But I think the critical play in that first quarter, though, was the touchdown the Bears had that was called back.
Yeah.
Because Jim Covert didn't report. He came in to play tight end, and because he's an offensive tackle, he has to be able to report to the referee in order to be able to play a position. He didn't do it, and the Bears wound up losing a touchdown. So,
well, in a game that's this close at this stage of the game, that certainly could come back to haunt them as it goes on. It is expected to be a defensive battle with two strong units defensively, so we'll certainly see as events unfold whether or not that 6 points plays a big role. Butler's kickoff taken by Walker at the 5. Walker to the 46-yard line. Finally stopped by David Tate, and Tate slower to get up than Walker, as Walker lowered that head and really flattened out the tackler.
Lowered that head and flattened out tacklers. When he gets the momentum going, you're talking about a man who's about 230 pounds, who's a world-class sprinter. Now, when he gets that speed going, he can cause a lot of damage. Look at the players bounce off of him. Great return.
So it is first down at the 45-yard line. Vikings unable to get anything started. 2 interceptions against Wade Wilson that stopped any offense they might have gotten started. Finney breaks loose to the 41-yard line of the Bears. Nice piece of running by the 4-year man from Washington. Stinson and Rivera on the tackle. And a first down, Vikings. Finally into Bears territory with a chance to make something happen. There's a look at Bob Schnelker, offensive coordinator, in the box right next to us here. The Vikings offensive staff upstairs, and yet Tom Moore is the man who is actually running that offense. We'll have Irv develop that story for you in a minute. Walker gets about 2. We talked about how this offense has been designed under Moore to get the ball more to Herschel Walker, and we're seeing that.
Yeah, well, Moore told us that I'm not a systems coach, I'm a people coach. And whatever my athletes can do, I adapt my system to them. And the Vikings offense now reflects that. There's more down there with the headset listening, sending the signal to us next play. But he and Schnelker worked very well in planning the offensive game plan. They worked very closely. Schnelker's up here spotting and helping him call the plays. And, of course, Moore down the field makes the final decision on the play.
2nd and 9. Rolling to his left. Wilson off the hands of Jordan and nearly picked off by the Bears. Sean Gale nearly grabbed that on a deflection. Couldn't quite hold on.
Tim, this was tremendous reaction. Sean Gale covering Jordan coming across on a crossing pattern. The ball goes up in the air, makes a cat-like reaction to come down with it. Now they're in single coverage here, and Jordan, short receiver here, bats the ball up. He almost, I tell you, he had it, but I guess he didn't have control of it when he hit the ground.
So it is 3rd and 9, and we may have a little replay happening here. There is a discussion on the field now and a slight delay, so it may be that the replay official, Bill Fetty, taking a look as we did as to whether or not Gale had it. The thing that's working against Gale here is that he got up and didn't make it look like he had actually made the catch.
I can tell you, as an old defensive back, if I had a play like that, I would have raised that ball and said, here, I caught it.
I got it.
Because it looks like he does catch it here. Right now, the ball's up in the air. He has possession. Now, does he have... Well, it came out when he hit the ground, but did he have possession before he hit the ground? Apparently not. Incomplete pass.
3rd and 9. Yeah, Gale's got to learn to act a little better. There wasn't much shot on that. Wilson under pressure. A lot of running room. To the 15-yard line, Wade Wilson. Second time he has run successfully against the Bear rush. Tate steered him out. A 24-yard gain.
Again, there's a time when you want your quarterbacks to run. Now, Wilson gave this pattern every chance he could to develop. Again, the Bears coming in a full blitz, single coverage upfield. Can't find anybody open. Then he elects to go ahead and take off on his own. Jerry Burns last night told us he's done this several times during the course of the season. At key times, ran out of the pocket to keep the drives alive.
So now the Vikings finally down deep in Bear territory. First time in the game at the 15. Walker. Sean Gale dumps him at the 10. It'll be 2nd down and about 4 for a first down at the 10-yard line of Chicago. Boy, they have been the murder inside the so-called red zone. They have not failed to score in the first 2 games of the season once they're down here.
Big difference from last year, Tim.
2nd and 4. Walker. Walker this time is stacked up. Got a couple of yards.
What they did to try to get that red zone syndrome off their back, Tim, when they got in the 20-yard line, they seemed to just die. They came up with field goals a year ago, couldn't get touchdowns. So in training camp this year, they spent a lot of time working their offense within that 20-yard zone. Moore told us, the offensive coordinator, that when you get down there, the defense, the field kind of shrinks. The defense crowds up on you, so you have to change your rhythm and change your play selection when you get down there. Vikings apparently have done it successfully this year.
Sure has. They've scored all of their touchdowns in there on passes that they have been scoring. Walker. Stuffed this time. Dan Hampton. A flag is down. Hampton, number 99, making the initial contact. Maybe a yard at the most and stopped short of the first down. And the penalty is against the Vikings illegal procedure. And you saw Mike Singletary said will decline. It's 4th down.
Illegal motion, number 84. Offense is declined. It'll be 4th down.
So the Bears declining leaves a 4th down, and the Vikings will go for the field goal here in this close football game. 10-16 to go in the half. 6-0. Bear lead. Donald Igwe-Buike will attempt. The ball being spotted at the 16-yard line. And Igwebuike's 26-yard field goal is good, and the Vikings are on the board. And the close game we expected is as is. 6-3, Chicago. Coach Jerry Burns applauds the field goal try by Donald Igwebuike and the 3 points, and then does a little housekeeping out here. Head coach of the Vikings got another career going here, groundskeeper.
Replacing divots, huh?
That hair looked a lot like, the grass looked a lot like Jerry's hair, too. You know, he's well known for not going to the comb too much. On the kickoff, it's buried at about the 18-yard line. James Rouse, the Bears rookie fullback, had a little trouble handling the ball. The Vikings going 47 yards in 8 plays, and the man they call Iggy knocking it in from 26 yards away against the wind. 3:39 off the clock. Mike Ditka sporting a brand new leather jacket and sartorially splendid. In fact, he saw an ad for those in the magazine, I'm told, Irv, and ordered up a bunch for his staff, and they're debuting them today.
That's right. They have them, and they're very proud of their jackets. It's a very comfortable jacket, a good-looking jacket, and the coach decided he liked it, so he bought them all for his staff as well.
Black leather fits his image, too. 6-3, Bears in the second quarter. 9:53 to go. Chicago at 18 on first down. Anderson, not much. Good defensive reaction out the left side of the Vikings front. Al Noga, number 99, made the stop.
Joey Brown, number 47, the strong safety, is in a position where he can come up and make this play, but it's so cleanly blocked. See Thornton clearing him out of there, and the point of attack did a pretty good job, and Anderson comes up with a good game.
It is second and about 8 yards for the Chicago Bears, just inside the 20. Morris goes wide to the left. Jim Harbaugh brings him to the line with Davis to the right. Harbaugh off for Anderson. Well played by the corner, Carl Lee. Read that perfectly and dropped him in his tracks. Loss on the play of nearly 4 yards. Carl Lee, the Pro Bowler, Marshall College in his 8th year. It'll be third down from the 15-yard line. They'll now need a long 12 for a first. Dennis Gentry brings the play on for Harbaugh. 6-3 Bear lead. 2 interceptions by Chicago early against Wade Wilson, stifling the Vikings attack. They finally got on the board a couple of minutes ago on a field goal. Harbaugh in trouble. Harbaugh swarmed under by 3 Vikings. Got back near the line of scrimmage, but it'll be fourth down. Dudwell and Dolman, Millard, a whole bunch of Vikings in on it.
The defensive line really saved the day on that play, though, Tim, because upfield, tight end James Thornton, they're broken clear. The Vikings were in a nickel defense. Corners came up and played short, and somebody released Thornton, and he was out there scot-free, but didn't have time to, Harbaugh didn't have time to deliver the ball.
Hillary waits for the punt at the Minnesota 40-yard line. They should line up with good field position here. Buford standing at his 3 for Chicago. Good kick with the wind. Drives Hillary back near the 30-yard line. And he is covered well at the 35. Maurice Douglas there to lead the charge, and we'll be back at Soldier Field in a moment. To go, Greg Landry, the offensive boss of the Bears, chatting with Harbaugh, and Mike Ditka coming over there, the head man getting into it. Don't look too happy about that last series in which they were stopped and had to punt. Vikings have it at their own 35-yard line after a 50-yard punt from Buford. This is Walker. Walker mows down a couple of Bears and gets about 6 yards. Singletary and Mark Carrier, the rookie from USC, combined to stop him.
Richard Dent, again, playing this linebacker position. He's free to roam here. Now he's playing the middle linebacker, and he'll be the guy to pursue this thing. Let's see how Carrier is cut off, trying to come through the on a blitz. Doesn't make it.
So it is second down and nearly 5. Wilson delivers, and it is caught by Anthony Carter. Well, no, it wasn't caught. The officials say he did not keep possession. Incomplete. Third down.
Quick slant, one of Carter's favorite patterns. Finney, running back coming out here, trying to encourage the linebackers to open an area for Carter to run into. He does, but the ball looks like he has it right here. Can't quite have it. Yeah, it bounces out. Didn't quite have control. Slid out of his hands.
Third down for the Vikings. Wilson still looking for his first pass completion of the day. 6:29 to go in the half. And now it may be that the replay officials are looking at that, perhaps. There's a huddle on the field. That usually means they're huddling up top here.
Yeah, from what we saw, it looked as though he had the ball and it sort of slid out of his hands as he was approaching the ground, and by the time he hit the ground, the ball had come out of his hands. It was an incomplete pass. They'll probably see. They will see that.
Upon review, the play is called on the field as incomplete. Third down.
Well, and similar to Sean Gale's interception attempt, Carter didn't do a big acting job after he got up either.
Yeah.
It is third down. An early big play for the Vikings here. 6:29 to go. They've got to make something happen. And Sean Gale dives in front of the intended receiver, Jordan, to knock that one down. And Wilson is now 0 for 6.
Yeah. The Bears have 4 defensive backs, 5 defensive backs in the game. 4 of them are playing short here. Wilson had nowhere to throw the ball. Sean Gale comes up with a good play.
And you heard the Bears fans applauding the defensive effort of Chicago, and a near block. Newsom's punt comes down at the 45 of the Bears. No flags are down, and it was nearly blocked by Roper, number 55, the linebacker. And we have 6:18 to go in the half. A 14-yard punt and a 6-3 Bear lead.
11 men on the line. Oh, so close.
See it one more time. You see Roper coming right up the middle here, number 55. Pushed off, but kept his direction.
They had 10 men on the line, Tim, and 2 gaps cleared, and just couldn't quite get there.
Looked like it was deflected in some way, and maybe Roper got a hand on it. 6:18 to go in the second period here. The Chicago Bears have stifled the Vikings offense entirely and have a pair of field goals for a 6-3 lead. Kevin Butler, his second one from 51 yards away with the wind behind him. And the Bears, remember, had a touchdown called back early in the game when Brad Muster had scored on their opening drive, but a penalty against Jimbo Covert for lining up uncovered on the left side without a tight end outside him brought the ball back, and the Bears had to settle for a field goal. Jerry Burns certainly has to be disappointed, and I don't think Mike Ditka has shown real happiness yet. Even though his team is on top, it's been a good defensive effort, but they haven't moved the ball early.
No, they haven't moved the ball at all, Tim. But, both these coaches worked very hard this year to try to bring back team morale. You know the story about the Vikings going down to New Mexico to bring their club together and experience several challenges of the team and develop morale there. And the Bears did it a different kind of a way. Mike Ditka had the T-shirt printed in training camp with team embossed on it, and they sort of had that team philosophy and team feeling throughout the entire season. And they're mostly close right now, both clubs.
First down at the 45-yard line after the 14-yard punt. Neil Anderson struggled for about 3 yards straight ahead. And Henry Thomas, in on the tackle, is holding that left ankle. So Thomas will get some medical attention, and we'll take this time out. It's at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Pennant race action. Check the local listings for the game in your area. Next Saturday at 3 Eastern here on CBS Sports, and those pennant races are really getting tight and interesting. There's Neil Anderson, and looks like he's bothered there.
Well, they're working on that flak jacket, and they're trying to check his ribs. He told me that if he couldn't go, he'd pull himself out, and they're checking his ribs now.
It is second down for the Bears near midfield. They need 7. And Mark Green. Good piece of running for a Chicago first down at the 45 of Minnesota. The Green in for Anderson, the second-year man from Notre Dame. Johnny Rowland said, here's a young guy that's really improved. He's learned so much in his second year. And they think very highly of Mark Green's future as a Chicago Bear running back. Right now, just a backup to the great Neil Anderson. And Anderson back in there. Harbaugh trying to come to the near side, throws it away. Good coverage out there. Anderson, the swingman, had both a linebacker and one of the defensive linemen ranging out there, Al Noga. Talking about baseball, scoreless in that game involving the Blue Jays and Red Sox in a battle in the American League East. 2nd and 10 at the 45-yard line. Ditka appearing calm, cool, and collected down there, saying he's trying to be that. Trying to be a little easier on his young players, criticized for criticizing them a year ago, particularly after a loss in Washington. Harbaugh under pressure from Millard. Flag is down. Sails it up out of bounds again. And a flag down on the far side of the field. Twice now, Irv Harbaugh has thrown the ball away. And I think coaches like to see that. Don't take a chance for an intercept.
Well, it's a good decision on his part, but he's trying to hit Neil Anderson, who went out to the flat on the backside and turned up and tried to get him one-on-one on Merriweather. But he was covered.
Illegal use of the hands. Number 48 defense, 5 yards and first down.
Reggie Rutland charged with illegal use of hands. First down, Bears.
This one he's trying to find Anderson on a pattern and flatten up. But Millard breaks through here and puts heat on him and doesn't have a chance to deliver the ball to the receiver, so he threw it out of bounds. A smart thing to do.
So first down for the Bears, a costly penalty against the Vikings at the 40-yard line of Minnesota. Muster and Anderson, the running back. Muster straight ahead. About 9 to the 30 of Minnesota before Studwell stopped him.
When the Bears come out in this formation and go in motion, they develop a double wing. The inside linebackers then will find themselves oftentimes outflanked. They get one-on-one blocking in here. See Thayer picks up his block, and Muster comes right up the middle for the yardage.
Scott Studwell, 35 years of age, in his 14th year. He just won't go away, Studwell. All these young guys come in and challenge him, and he continues to play solidly. Second and short. Henry Thomas is back in the line after his injury. First down, Muster down to the 23-yard line. The big guy from Stanford. Studwell again with Joey Browner, and the crowd applauding the effort of Brad Muster.
The Bears seem to have everything going for them. When action goes away, this linebacker will chase, but he gets cut off. As a result, Muster's able to come in here and get yardage. Action goes away, still chase, cut off, and there he is. Muster upfield for the yardage.
And Muster is playing in pain from a back injury, playing well. Anderson wide, gets about 3. Inside the 20-yard line, Bears driving. Fullington steered him out of bounds. This is the ground attack that you talked about at the beginning of the telecast, Irv. The Bears would like to be able to do. Keep Harbaugh out of trouble, grind it out, use up the clock.
Staying right with the game plan. They feel the best way to control a defensive line that rushes as well as the Vikings is to run at it. Don't give them a chance to get a full-headed steam up to nail your quarterback.
Cincinnati doing a job on New England, and they have one touchdown off a fake field goal in that game. Second down and 6, and a big hole. Another Bear first down for Brad Mustard.
Okay. Now what you have, Tim, is a situation where the Bears have had success running straight ahead. Now they come across with a trap. You see number 62 trapping here. Mark Borch picking up his block, and Mustard coming through scot-free.
6'3", 235-pounder running behind this offensive line. This is their 6th year together, and every coach will tell you that that kind of experience together makes a tremendous difference in a line, and they are playing cohesively this afternoon. Tom Zach, who does some of the signaling in when required, in discussion there with Greg Landry, the offensive boss, and Mike Ditkins. Glad to see Greg Landry back in full-time action after his bout with viral encephalitis. First down, Bears. Mustard pulls his way for another 3 yards to about the 7-yard line. Irv, you know, they said this guy, because he's so big that they don't like to see him running so upright, got him trying to bend over a little more. Whatever he's doing it well. 2 minutes to go. Chicago with 2 minutes to play first half. Obviously, defense has dominated, but the Bears are driving down inside the 10-yard line now, and they have all 3 timeouts remaining.
You'd assume they continue the same strategy, Tim. Keep the ball on the ground, because Ditka wanted to do that. He's had a lot of success with it. Running basically over his left side, over Jim Colbert and Mark Borch, doing a pretty good job against Dolman and Millard. They're neutralizing these people and controlling them on the ground. So I assume they've had success running it. They'll continue to do it, try to drive it down their throats.
8 plays in this drive. Anderson and Mustard have been carrying the mail. Anderson forced wide. Touchdown.
This play, the backside linebacker, when Flo goes away, will chase. Now watch what happens. Anderson starts to his right and then breaks back after Berry runs himself out of there.
Butler with a point after. And flak jacket and all, Neil Anderson going all out. There's a touchdown. And the first of the game. A Bear lead now 13-3. 1:54 remains here in the first half. So Jerry Burns has watched his offense in the first couple of games, even though they lost at Kansas City. A tremendously impressive last week, but they have been absolutely shut down in the first half here against the Bears today. 2 costly interceptions, and Wayne Wilson, against a very solid pass defense, has not been able to break through, does not yet have a completed pass. Well, Neil Anderson will go to the locker room early here. As Irv told you at the beginning of the game, he spoke to them when they were out during the warm-up, and obviously those ribs bothering him a little bit, but they're not bothering his feet.
He's running pretty well, Tim. But what he told me is all that most people thought he had just bruised ribs, but instead he has this cartilage damage. It's more severe and it's very painful. And he played this entire first half, believe me, in tremendous pain. But what an effort on his part.
1:54 to halftime, and when we reach that point, Ray Gumbel and Terry Bradshaw will have all the scores and highlights. Latest information around the NFL. Butler's kickoff all the way to the end line, chased by Walker there, and so the Vikings will start from their 20. At 1:54 to try and make something happen here. Wade Wilson looking for his first completion. Mike Ditka with some words of counsel for Kevin Butler. He doesn't talk to the kickers all that often. What do you think's going on here, Herb?
Not particularly when the defense is on the field. I don't know. Maybe he's planning to get the ball back and take a long field goal.
Well, he got that one through the end zone, so he can't be complaining about his kickoff. First down, Vikings. They go to the shotgun in the 2-minute drill. Walker, good defensive play. Sean Gale.
Okay, no time.
140, loss on the play of about 2. Wilson deep sideline, complete to Anthony Carter. Short of the first down, out of bounds at the 28. Well, evidently did not get out. Clock still going here. 1:15 and counting down. Carter unable to get out of bounds. Penny the lone setback. 4 receivers. Wilson to the release man. Penny dropped the ball. Mark Carrier coming up to cover him. Clock stopped with 58 seconds left. There's the rookie from USC. And the punting unit comes on, and the crowd applauds the Bear defense. Harry Newsom standing at the 13-yard line of Minnesota. Johnny Bailey backed up close to the 30-yard line. And not a good kick as Newsom was rushed again, but he gets a Viking bounce. And it'll be down at the 34-yard line of Chicago. A 39-yard punt. 49 seconds remain. Well, you're up by 10. How do you play these final seconds here?
Well, maybe that's why Ditka was talking to his field goal kicker.
Be ready.
Be ready. Be ready. If you get the ball back, we might have to go for a long field goal. So you play it safe, look at the sidelines, get your team, first of all, in field goal range. And once you're there, then you think about doing something else. Right? They'll probably go ahead and work the ball methodically to get it within field goal range.
Mark Green is in for Neil Anderson, who's gone to the locker room. Gentry is lined up as a receiver in the slot. Green, nowhere. Good defensive work by the Vikings. Al Noga, number 99, wrapped him up for a loss of about 3 yards. First timeout is called by the Bears. 42 seconds on the clock. There's Al Noga. And here's how things have progressed. It has not been a huge offensive half as Butler opened the scoring with a 23-yard field goal. That came on their first series after Mustard's touchdown was called back by a penalty. Then Butler, with the win, nailed one 51 yards in what appeared to be a punting situation. That gave him a 6-0 lead late in the first quarter. And in the second period, Donald Igwe-Buike closed it up to 3 with a 26-yard field goal for the Vikes. And then it was Neil Anderson going in from 8 yards out. You heard Herb Frost describe how well he did that as there was a traffic jam in front. He took it out wide to the left and ran it into the score. And now the medical report on Anderson is a pulled muscle in his lower back. There's a difference in the one he described. This is Boso. Cap Boso for a corner. Joey Browner to the 44-yard line of Chicago, and still 23 seconds left in the half.
A big play, Tim, a big play. I guess now you know why Ditka didn't want Harbaugh to throw the ball too much. That was a reasonably safe pass, but he simply misjudged where Browner was. Browner playing a short zone here, number 47, backing off in the flat. Really, the ball wasn't thrown very well at all. He had a receiver open. It was a little short. Joey Browner in his all-pro fashion. He's done many times before. Picked it off.
Browner, a 5-time Pro Bowler 5 years in a row, will frequently make the big play.
That's right. Dolman and Millard and Thomas. putting on the pressure.
So the Vikings have got a chance to close it up here. Wilson gets protection, now runs out of it, and has to unload. Dan Hampton in pursuit. You know Hampton will be complaining that he didn't get there. Those legs just don't work the way they used to. Virtually no cartilage left in either knee for Dan Hampton. When he gets in the open field like that against the quarterback, he's not catching them the way they used to, but he still wreaks havoc in there, in the middle.
Said he's real happy the way things are being orchestrated here in Chicago now. He's rotating. He plays 6 or 8 plays, comes out, and goes back in 6. So he's always fresh and ready to go.
Steve McMichael and William Perry and Hampton in that rotation. Wilson deep. He's got 2 receivers there. Batted around, and not sure who came down with the ball. Looks like the Bears picked it off. No. It is Vikings got it. Steve Jordan.
Difference, though, Tim, because Burns' strategy could have been entirely different. He may have gone in and thrown a pass for a touchdown or done something else, but looking at the clock, feeling it was pressured to make only one decision, go for the 3 because we didn't have any time left to do anything else, that's what he did.
Well, what's unclear at this point, we'll try to clear it up for you, is whether or not those 3 seconds remained when there were 7 seconds showing, should it have been 10, or were there 3 seconds when the clock came to 0-0, and we'll try and get that answered for you. Nonetheless, the Vikings will kick it off, and the Bears will have a kickoff return. Quick kick, James Rout to the 42-yard line, and that will officially bring the first half to a close. So we've got the tight ball game everybody expected. A defensive struggle with the Bears up. The end of the first half, 13-6. Our coverage. Tim Ryan and Irv Cross back at Soldier Field in Chicago, where the Bears lead 13-6 to clear up the clock situation at the end of the half. Irv, what we're told officially is that there were 7 seconds left when they kicked the field goal, but that they counted down more than they should have. There were 3 seconds still to play, and that's why they had to come back on the field and finish it up.
Okay, that wouldn't have affected Burns' decision at all then. He made the call with the time left on the clock, and he would have picked it under any circumstance then.
And so that got them close to really making a new ball game here in the second half, but obviously Wilson has got to get the offense going. Now, one of the things that they do awfully well is run out of one formation that features Herschel Walker, and under cross-examination, we're going to take a closer look at it.
Okay, it's the I formation. Everybody talks about getting Herschel Walker in the I, and what the I is a formation where the backs line up directly behind the center. And what they're trying to do is get Herschel Walker to be able to have full vision upfield so he can then break off, tackle, and go upfield. He does that very well. Now, they ran that play 5 times in the first half. 4 runs and 1 pass. The 4 runs equaled 18 yards. So the Bears have done a great job shutting down that formation, which is the one Herschel Walker likes best. That's one reason why they're winning this game.
Well, so Walker has 31 yards in rushing overall on 9 carries in the first half. His counterpart for Chicago, Neil Anderson, who left late in the half with an injury, 11 carries, 43 yards, and a touchdown. And we'll be waiting to see if Anderson gets back in. He started this game with bad ribs, and then we're told he has a pulled muscle in his lower back. So we'll keep you up to date on Neil Anderson. The Bears will kick it off as we're underway on this beautiful fall afternoon, the first day of autumn. Good kickoff taken at the 30-yard line by Alan Wright of the Vikings, and he gets near the 30-yard line. So Wade Wilson, who really struggled through the first half, 3 of 11, 2 interceptions. We'll try to get it cranked up here in the second half.
See what kind of change they make then, because we know they wanted to come in here with the idea of trying to run and pass equally, but now they've gotten themselves in a situation where they're only a touchdown down. They can stay with the normal offense, but they may be tempted to put the ball in the air just a little more than they planned.
Herschel Walker, about 3 yards. 5 of the dark-shirted Bears there to bury him. Mark Carrier coming up to get into it. Mark Carrier, the rookie who ran off Dave Duerson, the veteran. Somewhat of a surprise this year that they let Duerson go. He turned up with the New York Giants, but Mark Carrier drafted #1, projected as a starter, and he is there doing a job that is making Mike Ditka and Vince Tobin, the defensive coordinator, very happy indeed. Second down, and 6 to go. Penny in motion, and they give it to Walker, trying the left side. He is shut down after a gain of 2. Good work on the corner out there. The linebacker Morrissey and Mike Singletary ranging out to get in on the play.
Again, working from the eye once again. This time it was a toss, but that play taking Herschel wider than he really wanted to go in the initial toss, wasn't able to make the turn. Morrissey played extremely well. His responsibility was to stay outside, turn it back, and he did.
Well, you can see the numbers there. Can often play a role, not always, but 0 for 4 trying to convert. Let's see what he does here. Quickly out to Finney, nice catch, and he has the first down. Vikings to their own 45-yard line. Rick Finney with a good catch. Donnell Wolford on the coverage. Had to spin around to make the grab.
Rick Finney is probably noted more for his power running inside, but he's also a good receiver, running a flare pattern out here against the zone defense. A short zone man coming up, but too late. Makes the first down. Nice catch.
And there's an injured Viking down. Medical attention forthcoming out there to check him out. It's an interior lineman. And Chris Foote, the center, number 62. Foote has been playing for Kirk Loudermilk, a late reporter, a holdout, and Loudermilk signed and played some last week, and now in the game here, number 63. The feeling is when he gets back into game condition that Loudermilk will be restored in his normal starting role at center. Jerry Burns describes him as having a little wider base than Chris Foote, and that's evidently a desired quality of the center. First down. Wilson with time has his man, Anthony Carter, and another Viking first down at the 45-yard line of Chicago. So a good start here in the second half for the Vikings.
Big difference, Tim. First down pass this time. They come out in a set where they fake. He goes back in the pocket and throws it deep out to Carter, working one-on-one over here on Emil Stinson. Little offensive strategy change. Throw the ball on first down instead of trying to run it.
Veteran Jimbo Covert in a duel with Chris Dolman today when Dolman stays over on his own side. Like Dent, Dolman will move around. Walker breaks one tackle, and he's got some room. Out of bounds at the 26-yard line. They're going to spot it at the 24, I believe, for Herschel Walker.
Again, from the I formation, Herschel Walker going off his left tackle, Gary Zimmerman, who does a great job up here, coming back down inside on Richard Dent. Holds the corner, and number 76, Tim Irwin, comes around, picks up a good block, and Herschel Walker is off to the races.
20-yard pickup for Walker. First down inside the 25 of Chicago. 13-6 Bear lead. This time stacked up. William Perry, number 72. Brace Armstrong, number 93.
Tim, William Perry is having an outstanding season so far. Sure, it's early in the year, but he gets off the ball so much quicker than anybody else, and he's so strong here, making good penetration, knocking off the offensive lineman, and making the initial hit. You know, we saw him in practice. We thought, gee, Perry looks different. Now, we don't know if 325 is really 23 or not, but he looks slim and trim and in pretty good shape.
Well, by comparison to the old William of a year ago, he looks downright svelte. Second down and 9, and Wade Wilson will take a timeout, something he didn't like for the play they had called. 11:04 remains in the third quarter. The Vikings driving at the Bear 24.
New York won yesterday, 11-5. So they're 2.5 games back of the Pirates right now.
Well, Montreal getting in the mix there, too, along with Pittsburgh. And here's a look at the American League action today. There you see Pittsburgh on top, 4-0. Mets fans won't like the look of that in the fifth inning. So the Vikings driving at the 23-yard line, 11:04 to go, third quarter. Jerry Burns, you can't tell whether he's winning or losing. His expression is usually the same. But right now the team is down. Wilson under pressure, intended for Carter. Carter wanting an interference call, but no flags fly. It's just an incompletion. Carter complaining about the coverage from Sean Gale.
Wilson trying to find Herschel Walker on the strong side. Can't get him. Carter has come all the way across field here. Thought he was open, but it wasn't. Trace Armstrong again applying the pressure.
So it leaves 3rd and 9 at the 24-yard line. Wilson completes to Hassan Jones. Pulled down at the 4-yard line. David Tate, number 49, got him, or he would have been in the end zone. A big play receiver, Hassan Jones, somewhat in the shadow of the better-known Anthony Carter. Tight end Steve Jordan, but Jones has got 9 catches coming into this game and makes a big one there for a 1st and goal. 6-footer out of Florida State, drafted in the 5th round, 1986. Just seems to come up with those big ones. Penny, not much. Maybe a yard. 2nd and goal. Inside the 4-yard line.
Tim, you get the feeling that knowing as strong as that Bear defensive line is, it's very difficult to ram the ball inside like that. And sometimes you might want to run a play to set up another one. Let's see if the Vikings come back with some kind of play pass action, but it's tough territory down there.
Well, with all of the success they've had in the first 2 games, throwing inside the 20-yard line, inside the so-called red zone, and one would think that that's the way they'll try to get it in the end zone here. Wilson intended for the tight end, incomplete. The tight end, Mike Jones, the rookie from Texas A&M, number 82. Tate on the coverage.
When Wilson sees the tape on this in practice, he'll say, oh my gosh, how did I miss? He had 2 other people wide open, elected to go to Jones and threw the ball incomplete.
3rd and goal. Incomplete. Steve Jordan covered by Singletary and Sean Gale.
Tremendous goal line defense, Tim. Steve Jordan working to the outside against the linebacker, finds 59 Rivera and Singletary on the spot.
Yes, it was indeed Rivera who was the guy that did the best job on the defensive play. 22-yard field goal try for Donald Igwe-Buike. And they are now reviewing the play upstairs. The replay official is Bill Fetty.
Question, I guess, whether or not he caught the ball. All right, check Rivera.
Review the
incomplete pass. Rivera screened Jordan. Did hit him in the stomach, but he didn't have a chance to catch it at all. It's incomplete.
Donald Igwe-Buike. Jerry Burns, his coach, says he's got a twinkle in his eye. I like this guy. And he's got the field goal. And Burns says, I'll have a twinkle in my eye as long as he keeps kicking it through the upright. 13-9. We'll be back. Soldier Field on a beautiful fall afternoon. The Vikings just had themselves a good drive, and they went 66 yards in 12 plays for the Igwe-Buike field goal from 22 yards out. Used up 5:19 on the clock. And the man they call Iggy about to kick it off. Burns was quite proud of himself that he could pronounce his name correctly, slowly but correctly. From the 5-yard line, Dennis Gentry gets out to the 29. Well, we'd like to send our best wishes to this man. His name is Gene Savitt. He's working his last game for CBS Sports today, retiring after 42 years with CBS. He's done it all for us, and we wish him the very best in the rest of his life. No more cold afternoons in places like Green Bay and Chicago. Good luck to you, Gene. One of many unsung heroes, guys who put in the years for us to bring the pictures to you folks at home. First down, Bears, from their 29-yard line. Leading 13-9. Neil Anderson. Close to a 10-yard pickup. For an NFL update, let's go to our studio in New York and Greg Gumbel.
Well, Tim, at New Orleans, Phoenix quarterback Tim Rosenbaugh has thrown his first touchdown pass of the season. 37 yards to Ricky Prohl, and with that, the Cardinals pull into a 7-7 tie with the Saints. Back to Tim and Irv in Chicago.
Rosenbaugh and Prohl. You're going to hear a lot more about those two players in the years ahead. Irv, they looked good when we saw them last week.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me at all. He looked terrific last week against Philadelphia, and he's continuing to grow.
Second less than a yard. You saw the Bears defense organizing for their next trip out onto the field. Anderson, first down. Gets a couple of yards. And for a guy who's got 2 injuries, he's not doing too badly.
Got bad ribs and a bad back, and he just keeps rolling on. You don't want to catch him on a good day when he's healthy, right?
For sure.
He's a terrific athlete. But he told me he was determined to be in the lineup. He felt his club needed him, and he would go as far as he possibly could.
First down, Chicago at their own 41. Buster picks up close to 9 on the play. Joey Browner made the stop. Deceptively quick for a big man.
Quick, and he has more speed than you think he might has too, Tim, because he has a long stride. But again, when both backs go away, the backside linebacker, Barry, is 50, you see, chases. Now, Buster cuts back against the grain, comes upfield, and then finally meets Joey Browner, puts the clamps on him.
Bears are lucky to find this young man with the retirement of Matt Suhey. Had so many distinguished years here as a great fullback for the Bears, and then to be able to follow him with Buster. A completely different shape and style, but a good one. Buster again. Big hole for him. First down to the 43-yard line, and the crowd recognizing his effort and that of the offensive line, creating huge holes for him.
You hit the nail right on the head, Tim. The offensive line is doing a tremendous job up there. Keith Van Horn and Thayer right now create the hole for Buster to come through, breaking off his right guard for the first down. They've done a just tremendous job up there against an outstanding defensive line.
Again, what we're seeing in this series, Irv, the kind of game plan that Mike Ditka wanted to see. A good running attack that moves the ball, doesn't put a lot of pressure on Harbaugh to make completions for first down. Pickup of about 5 for Anderson, and Joey Browner on the stop. To the 40-yard line, Bears grinding it out. Minnesota territory, it'll be second and about 6. Jerry Burns can't be happy with these developments here, because suddenly the grinded out offense of the Bears moving on his very aggressive front four. Johnny Bailey in the ball game, exciting young rookie from Texas A&I.
Look how wide that offensive line for the Bears is now split, allowing them to be able to run inside the tackle.
Well, they give it to the big man again, trying to get wide, and he does. Brad Muster inside the 25 of Minnesota.
Sensational job by the Bear offense, but again, that line taking real big splits. Muster wants to come up inside and finds everything shut down and has enough speed to sprint outside to turn upfield and make a nice gain out of this play. Again, Joey Browner making the tackle.
11-yard gain, 62 on the day for Muster on 9 carries. From the 24-yard line, a first down, Chicago. Anderson back in the game, joining Muster. Morris wide left, Wendell Davis right. Anderson dipsy-doodling inside the 20-yard line. Pickup of nearly 5. This offensive line, you pointed out how well they're opening holes today from a variety of lineups, the way they split and so on. And you talk to Jay Helgenberg, the all-pro center. He feels that offensive players are just overlooked. He thinks that they ought to be paid like those big, high-priced defensive linemen. And this is how they ought to be rated.
That's right. Well, you'd expect him to think that offensive linemen should be paid higher, more than the defensive linemen, but he has a valid point.
He said if they use those stats you saw there and applied them like they do sacks for defensive linemen, that their work might be better measured. Muster with a good hole out the right side, gets down to the 15-yard line.
Tim, this is a real frustrating drive for any opposing. Have that offensive line control the ball the way they have, and the Vikings have done everything they can in their defensive repertoire to try to shut it down. The offensive line has just picked up everything. Most of it's been single blocking. They've had pretty wide splits between the guard and tackle, trying to come back inside on traps, and then when they go outside, they kind of close down a little bit so they can bounce to the outside. But for the most part, it's one-on-one blocking up there. They're 5 against the Vikings front 4, and the Bears are winning right now.
8 runs in this drive. They've got third and a short 2 for a first down. Anderson diving for it. Vikings say he didn't get there. And we'll wait for the spot. Close to the first down, but it looks like it's a little short. So the Bears bring on the field goal unit. And it'll be Kevin Butler teeing it up at about the 23-yard line, just inside the 23. Good. Third field goal for Kevin Butler. And the Bears widen their lead. 3:20 to go, third quarter. And here, the Bears leading 16-9 after a 32-yard field goal by Kevin Butler. And the Bears went 10 plays, 56 yards, 6:21 off the clock. Exactly what Coach Mike Ditka wanted to do against the Vikings, and exactly what Jerry Burns hoped his defense could prevent. Butler again, another squib kickoff. He will not let Walker bring it upfield. This is Alan Rice. And Rice, good piece of running over the 40-yard line. So good field position for the Vikings. Go back to that Butler field goaler.
When he kicked this thing, he kicked it to the far upright to the right side. It looks like it might miss, but with a little body action, he gets it in there.
Nice little hook on it there. Butler is
there he goes.
Saying, oh man, that was a little closer than I had planned. Didn't exactly split the upright, but it counts. 16-9, Bear lead. 3:10 to go, third quarter. Vikings from their own 41. Jesse Clark. The stop for a loss of a yard. For another NFL update, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
Well, Tim, in the Superdome, the Saints have come right back. Reuben Mays from 10 yards out behind. Good blocking, finds his way to the end zone, and the Saints go up a touchdown. It's 14-7 New Orleans in the third. Let's go back to Soldier Field.
Well, thank you, Greg. And there's a look at some of the members of that Bears offensive line. Jimbo Covert, Mark Bortz. Vikings, Clark again, and got a couple just over the original line of scrimmage. center of the Bears defense all in on the action there. It's William Perry lasting it up, the big guy, number 72.
Okay. William Perry has really been quite a force in the middle. He's a big, strong guy, one of the quickest defensive linemen the Bears have off the ball, and he's jammed everything up there and he's ready to draw.
Steve McMichael in with him now. As you mentioned earlier, they rotate McMichael, Perry, and Hampton because of the knees of Dan Hampton, just not allowing him to go to full games anymore. Pressure on Wilson. Good job to get away from it. Throws it out of bounds. Perry and Dent both with a real good chance to nail Wilson, but they have stopped them and forced him to punt.
Richard Dent coming in on the dog. Beats his offensive tackle and almost comes up with a sack.
Wilson did a good job just to get that one away.
Sure did.
Newsom hits it from his own 33-yard line. Bailey at the 20. Bailey buried at the 32-yard line of Chicago. 1:36 to go, third quarter. We'll be back.
Quarterback on that one.
Big William Perry on the sideline after a good defensive series for the Bears. And I know he doesn't look slim, folks, but trust me on this. If you saw him a lot last year, when he stands up, he really is noticeably thinner. I won't say skinnier.
He's doing a lot of work on the Stairmaster. He's the first guy in the training room, works on that Stairmaster. After practice, works on it. So he's trying to get himself in shape.
Yeah, his teammates say he's got a real good attitude this year. First down, Bears on their own 30-yard line. Will Anderson gets it back inside for about 3 yards. Harbaugh 4 of 10 passing for just 35 yards, but the Bear ground game has been doing the job. Merriweather made the stop there for the Vikings. Time winding down here in the third quarter. Just a 7-point lead, which we can't remind you enough about when you've got the explosive scoring potential that the Vikings have. This one a long way from being over with a 1-touchdown differential. Second down and 7. And Anderson continue at the running back position. Muster, quick opener for about 4, maybe 5 yards up near the 40-yard line.
Real quick hitter. Tim, some teams call it an offset eye, with Muster set up at the halfback position and Anderson in the fullback. See, Anderson goes away, and they come back and trap back the opposite direction. And Muster comes out of there clean. It's an old single wing play.
Bullington on the stop, number 29. Time running down here in the third quarter is Keith Millard, ever eager, trying to make something happen defensively. Third and a yard. And they won't get the play off. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Chicago Bears 16, the Minnesota Vikings 9. Our coverage will continue after this message.
Asked him how he was going to handle things today. Sure, I'll do all the play calling sometimes. Mike Dick will call him sometimes, but I feel fine. Everything will be okay. So we're happy to hear that he's getting along much better.
Well, he's supposed to get sitting on a rest each day, so he gets a long football game. Maybe things will start to wind down for him in the fourth quarter. Harbaugh has a first down and slides into midfield. Showing a good speed of foot.
Okay. Okay. Again, the old bootleg. Harbaugh thinking as if the play is going to go away. Merrill is responsible for containing on the backside and doesn't do so, so he escapes for a huge gain. Looks like the Bears don't plan to throw the ball. They didn't throw the ball at all in the third quarter, and looks like they just want to keep it on the ground and grind out the clock.
Not one pass by the Bears in the third period. We're now just underway in the final period, barring overtime. Anderson escapes from Studwell and picks up about 4 yards into Vikings territory. Now there, they look at that Vikings offensive line. They haven't had a chance to be on the field as much as they'd like. The bearded Tim Irwin down there in the middle of that pack. As the defenses have dominated the game, and the Vikings have just been unable to put anything really sustained, barring one drive against the Bears defense.
You get the feeling, though, Tim, that somewhere along the line things would break. The Vikings have a reputation for forcing turnovers and taking the ball away, and the defense hasn't been in position yet, in that kind of position to do that today.
You're right. They've got big play guys on both sides of the ball. Mustard. But this is what's killing them so far. I mean, the Bears just keeping the football, using up the clock. First down. Henry Thomas drove him out.
Okay. What's happening, though, Tim, is that the backs are starting to run inside, and then they skip outside. Now, with most of the Viking linebackers, what they do on the backside, when both backs go away, the backside linebacker will kind of close down. He's supposed to be responsible for containment as they come back, but he closes down. And what the Bears are doing is they're allowing him to close down and then roll around him.
Well, it's been working effectively. We've seen Muster and Anderson both get outside today. First down, 41-yard line of the Vikings. Muster about 3 yards behind the left guard, Bort. I love Hilgenberg's attitude about the offensive lineman. You know, he says, hey, those pass rushers make 16 sacks a season, then go in and ask for over $1 million. Because they make one big play a game. Big deal. What about the offensive lineman who blocked them 95% of the time? But you had to love Dolman's response to that when we talked to Chris.
Anybody can be an offensive lineman. Just stand in front of the guy.
Easy for Dolman to say.
Yeah.
And he certainly scorned the technique that the offensive linemen are allegedly reputed to have. He said no more than he said, let them try and play defense. Anderson for about 4 yards. It's going to leave third down and a long yard for the Bears. Merriweather and Fullington on the tackle.
Neil Anderson concentrating on where he wants to go, but first of all, he wants to see what the alignment's going to be so they can read where those defenders are going to come from, and picked up a nice yardage.
Third down, and it looks about 2 yards. They spotted the ball at the 33-yard line of the Vikings. Word out of that Redskin game, quarterback Mark Rippon suffered a knee injury, and he's out of the game. They're in a tie at 6-all, and Dan Humphrey's in. That could be a big blow for the Redskins. Muster trying for the first down, and maybe stopped short. Good defensive response by the Vikings. Henry Thomas slicing in. Dolman in there. Studwell coming up from the linebacking spot, and it is 4th and short.
He's not a field goal kicker. He could probably make it from this range, though, because we'll see if it's 4th and a half a yard or so. The offensive line has controlled the line of scrimmage all day. You'd think they could get this, but a field goal here would give them a 10-point spread and put them in pretty good shape. But Mike's going to let you go for it. Wave off the field goal attempt and go for it.
Well, now they've got a measurement coming out. Muster's up to 90 yards on the day rushing for Chicago. It appeared to be quite obviously short, but they called for the measurement anyway. And
that's a long yard, Tim. I think he'll go ahead and kick the field goal. And he has a kicker who can make it from here.
Butler has a 51-yarder kicking in this direction, but it looks like they're going to go for it.
No, he's going to go for it. All right. Give them to the offensive line. If they make it, give the offensive line the game ball.
In the I formation, Muster is a lead back. Anderson. First down to the 22-yard line, and nifty bit of running by Neil Anderson.
Tim, this is a case where everybody is singled up one-on-one. Each offensive lineman is responsible for the defender over his head. Now, Neil Anderson, after he takes this toss, knows the middle linebacker is going to be the first person who will confront him. and he simply beat the middle linebacker one-on-one. Scott Sudwell couldn't come up with the play.
So Anderson, playing hurt all day long, has been a big force along with Brad Muster. The rushing attack of the Bears has been very impressive indeed. 9:41 to go. 16-9, Bear lead, and they have a first down at the Viking 23. Good defensive pursuit that time by Joey Browner, nailing Anderson at the 20-yard line. They're going to spot it at the 19.
Joey Browner is a strong open field tackler, but Neil Anderson knows how to take on tacklers. He runs his sweep, setting up blocks for his offensive lineman nicely. Notice how he glides there instead of just sprinting out full speed, waiting for the block to be set up. And here comes Browner to put on the hit, and Anderson simply absorbed it by putting his shoulder down there.
Now you're into the fourth quarter. They've had 19 rushes in this half, the Bears have, and you have to wonder about the defensive team of the Vikings starting to wear down a little bit. They've been out there a long time, Irv.
You wear down, and it's also frustrating, Tim. You want to get the ball away.
Merriweather blitzing. Harbaugh throws it away just before he took the hit.
So what you wind up doing is running blitzes and anything else to try to get to the quarterback as quick as you can to force a big play. The Vikings this time go into a safety blitz. Number 47, Joey Browner. Actually, Merriweather, number 57, Merriweather shows first, and Browner comes to the other side on a safety dog, hoping they can call for a big play, and Harbaugh wisely threw it away. But it's frustrating for a defensive team to be in this kind of position. They're a great defensive football team. They're not accustomed to having people take the ball and drive the length of the field and eat up 7 or 8 or 9 minutes on the clock. Very frustrating.
Well, they got a passing situation which they excel in. On second down, they forced him to throw it away. Now they've got a third down. They could stop the drive. And they do. A near pickoff by Dolman. But this is the comfort zone here for the Vikings defense when they see that quarterback back passing. And they have brought up a fourth down.
Third and long is Viking defense. Chris Dolman beating Covert on the pass rush almost comes up with an unbelievable interception, batting the ball down.
Like the one Dent had back in the first half.
Right, right. He's a pretty good basketball player, by the way. He's like an all-state basketball player in high school.
Pretty amusing guy, too. Likes to talk. Butler for the field goal on the 32, and it is blocked. The Vikings do a great job defensively. 3 plays in a row.
And that is a turnover for the Vikings. A blocked field goal.
So with 8:29 still to play, the Vikings stay within 7 points of the Chicago Bears. Coming up with a big defensive play on a blocked field goal try. And let's see who got it. It's somewhere in the middle of that group. So the Vikings down by 7. 205 yards rushing. They had 8 minutes and 7 seconds of possession and came up with no points. And the Vikings, meanwhile, inside the 20 today, have not been able to come up with a touchdown, and that's been their strength through the first 2 games of the season. Now let's see if that defensive stoppage can fire up the Vikings offense. It is certainly well rested. Play action. Complete. Wilson finding an open man against the coverage of the cornerback Donnell Wolford. Hassan Jones for a first down to the 37-yard line.
Each time will not think about the last play, will get off the field. Each time somebody forgets his job. Each time somebody does it wrong. Just do your job.
That's Floyd Peters, the defensive boss of the Vikings, just moments ago, after his defense had given up a lot of rushing yardage, but then came up with 2 big plays against the pass and a blocked field goal.
Apparently, somebody must have had some missed assignments. But oftentimes what happens, and Peters knows this quite well, that when you have a long, tedious drive like that, it does become frustrating, and you have a tendency to do more than you would normally do. If your assignment is to take 1 step and seal, maybe you take 2 or 3 steps because you want to help out, and you wind up overrunning plays that you'd normally make. And it's a very frustrating thing for a great defensive team to see that happen to themselves.
Well, meanwhile, this delay on the field came from the replay booth as they looked at that pass caught by Jones. and ruled as they had on the field a completion and a first down. Vikings, 37-yard line. Wilson with time, finds Jones again. Hassan Jones short of the first down. For another NFL update, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Tim, back in New Orleans. John Forcade, the Floyd Turner 46-yard pass sets up Reuben Mays for his second touchdown run of the day. This one from 4 yards out, and the Saints now have a 21-7 lead on the Cardinals in the fourth. Back to Chicago.
Reuben Mays starting to get back to his running form. 2 Achilles tendon surgeries in the last couple of years. He's a good one. 2nd and 2 here for the Vikings. Rachel Walker, nice piece of work, has a first down. And about another yard to midfield. Stopped there by Wolford, number 21, the cornerback. And the Vikings keep it going here with a first down at the 50-yard line. 6:50 on the clock. Trailing by just a converted touchdown. Like Henry Thomas carries around a little like weight on his feet there with a tape wrap on over the boot. Strong defensive game for the Vikings. And that's complete to Anthony Carter. AC out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Just short of another Viking first down.
Tim, you could sense the rhythm of the Viking offense beginning to come and get in sync here now. You know, the last couple of throws by Wilson, the timing was good, the delivery was away, and the catch was made, and you could feel their confidence beginning to rise here. And you get the feeling that big play potential that offense has is beginning to show itself.
Bears have McMichael and Henson at the tackles now, with Perry getting his rest. 2nd and short. Finney has the first down for Minnesota. Still struggling for extra yardage after the whistles. And he'll get at least a 3-yard gain. Down to the 37 of Chicago. Bob Schnelker upstairs, as Irv told you, contributes to the play calling from what he can see up here. Tom Moore makes the plays on the sideline, came over from Pittsburgh. Has worked very closely with the quarterbacks and developed a good rapport with Wade Wilson. And Wilson definitely feeling better about having this job to himself with Kramer gone in New Orleans. Fumble. Wilson apparently recovered the exchange from center from Kirk Loudermilk, number 63. A little mix-up perhaps in the count.
Well, Loudermilk hasn't been in there for some time, though, Tim. And this is what oftentimes happens. Is a center who hasn't worked with his quarterback for a while oftentimes will make a mistake like that. And Wilson, expecting the ball in a certain position, just pulls out of there and wasn't where he wanted it.
Chris Foote has been playing there with Loudermilk a holdout. And Foote left with an injury earlier in the game. Wilson 9 of 21 passing, but those 2 pickoffs in the first half. And that's incomplete. Sean Gale stood his ground against Steve Jordan. I think Jordan will be glad to see the last of number 23.
It had to be somewhat surprised to see Sean standing there. I mean, on a pass route, normally the defensive back will yield and give some ground, but he held his ground like a linebacker and really almost let Jordan run into him.
Gale's a tough guy. He's had a bad neck injury. A lot of folks thought maybe he wouldn't even come back from that. Wears a special little brace under there, but it's not been intimidated at all. 3rd down and a yard. Huge play, obviously, for the Minnesota Vikings. Crowd getting into it. Complete. Hassan Jones. First down Vikings to the 27-yard line of Chicago. Or is it a first down? Let's see. It's going to be close. It'll be close. They're just stripping everybody off there. Maybe a little short. On a 3rd and 11 play, they go to Hassan Jones, and he has been a big play guy for them. And they're going to measure. 4 catches today for 55 yards. What a receiving core they have. Anthony Carter, and then picking up Chris Carter from the Eagles, along with Jones and Jordan. And Walker, who gets a lot of catches now. And it's short by less than a yard.
Well, they have to continue to go for it. You know, they've only got 4 minutes left to go in the ball game. And with the Bears be controlling the clock, the Vikings offense has to come up with it. So here comes their bread and butter play. It's going to probably be Herschel Walker from the eye.
Walker has it. First down, Vikings to the 25-yard line.
That formation, Tim, some people call Brown, but really it's something called an offset eye, where Herschel Walker stands deep in the fullback position, taking the ball so he can, again, have good vision of field and either hit off tackle or bounce outside. Here he bounces outside for the first down.
So for him, it's just like the regular eye, and that's what he prefers, right?
Right, the regular eye, that's right. So it's very comfortable there.
First down, Vikings. Driving now. Down by 7. Penny and Walker, the running back. Penny. Nice piece of running by Rick Penny inside the 20 of the Bears. So Rick Penny, been bothered with a groin injury, picks up a big gainer there, and a key one here as the Vikings roll inside the red zone of Chicago. 3:08 on the clock. Bears have dominated this game on the ground. Both defenses have played well, as the score would indicate. The Vikings having their best drive since back in the first half. Quickly out to Walker. Walker may have the first down with a second effort. Mark Carrier put a good hit on him, one-on-one in the open field. That is not an enviable task.
Tim, one-on-one in the open field with a great back who has a lot of steam build up, and he really did a great job here. It's a flare pattern to the right side of the formation. Walker having an opportunity to go inside or out on the defensive back, can't do it. Mark Carrier squared up, made a great play.
But that second effort, nonetheless, got Walker and the Vikings a first down at the 15-yard line. Walker stuffed for a loss. The Bears defense pushed everybody back. A loss on the play. And we have reached the 2-minute warning here at Soldier Field. The Vikings are driving. They trail by 7.
Is sponsored by High Performance Compact Personal Computers. Compact, it simply works better. The U.S. Army, where you get an edge on life, be all you can be. And by Bud Dry. Why ask why? Try Bud Dry for refreshment that's beyond question.
The Windy City, the Vikings, on the 17-yard line. A 2nd and 12. They've got 2 timeouts remaining. 2 minutes to play. Down by 7. Wilson for Jones. Touchdown. Hassan Jones. Wide open. Got away from Donnell Wolford. So Wilson, who struggled early, comes up big.
Hassan Jones working one-on-one on Donnell Wolford, runs a deep post pattern. Is coming out of the inside of the formation, faking a move to the outside, and Wolford bit on it.
So Donald Igwe-Buike with a chance to tie it up here. 1:55 on the clock. He's got it. And we have a tie football game with 1:55 to play. There's the time remaining in regulation time, and the Vikings have tied it up. The 17-yard goes 2 grabs. That's the biggest. Donald Igwe-Buike, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, will kick it off. Gentry and Bailey, the deep men, inside the 10. Good kick. Comes through. Bobbled by Bailey, and he is dropped. Good work by the Vikings on the special team. Audrey McMillan made the tackle.
Off. Todd Kalis, number 69, does a pretty good job on pass protection when the blitz starts here. See, Singletary coming through, he has to first of all make contact here, and then pick up the man who slides through. There he is, bang, taking the guard, let him pass, pick up the blitzer. He does. Wilson has time to deliver the ball, and the Vikings have a touchdown.
And Kalis did not start. He's been bothered with a chest injury. Ron Wolfley started, Craig Wolfley, pardon me, Ron's brother. And Kalis coming in later did a great job there. First down, Bears. Harbaugh under pressure. Man open on the sideline is Quentin Smith, number 85, the rookie wide receiver from Kansas. 1:45 on the clock. It'll be 2nd and 3 from the 26-yard line. So Jim Harbaugh getting a chance to do his 2-minute drill here. See if the Bears can get it down close enough for a scoring attempt to prevent overtime. Harbaugh, the former Michigan star, winning a preseason battle with Tom Zak and becoming a starting quarterback for his first full season. Harbaugh in some trouble. Again, just throws it away. Morris, the intended receiver, but you can see Harbaugh just trying to get that ball out of bounds, out of harm's way. Under pressure from Al Noga.
Al Noga doing a pretty good job working against Keith Van Horn, beats his block, and applies the pressure in typical Viking style. Here he is, number 99, giving Van Horn a little... Well, actually, Van Horn does a pretty good job on him. Harbaugh rolls out of there, allowing Noga to get a pretty good shot at him.
3rd down. From the 25-yard line, and he's free for a first. 1:39 on the clock. Anderson stopped short. Good defensive play. An ankle grab in there. Inside, it looks like Noga. So Al Noga doing the job 2 plays in a row. It'll leave 4th and a yard. Horry Buford comes on. And James Thornton slow to get up, holding his ankle. The Bears tight end number 80. An injury timeout on the field. So 1:26 on the clock. We'll be back at Soldier Field in a moment.
Why does
Tim Ryan and Irv Cross in Chicago. Keith Van Horn, a close-up look here as they'll sweat it out here. The Bears will have to punt. Buford standing at his 15. And Ira Hillary waiting for it at the 30-yard line of the Vikings. 1:29 to go. And the Vikings certainly with a lot of time left here to try and win this game in regulation time as their defense stopped the Bears. Wade Wilson, a slow start, but then coming up big with a touchdown pass to Hassan Jones to tie it up. Late here in this football game in Chicago. Buford punt. Takes a Bear bounce. And will be down at the 34-yard line. Well, ahead this evening, in addition to football action, 60 Minutes reports a story about some Green Berets so stunning that first they didn't believe it. Green Berets selling guns to the Japanese mafia. Members of the high command covering it up. 60 Minutes opens a can of worms tonight, followed by Murder, She Wrote, and the CBS Sunday movie, Leona Helmsley, the Queen of Mean. So first down from their 35-yard line, 1:18 to play. Remember, the Vikings have not been a good road team. They were 2-6 last year. They'd love to get a victory here in Chicago, knowing they get them back in the Metrodome later in the season. Inside handoff to Walker. Irv, you surprised they ran instead of threw on first down. What do you think they'll do here?
Yeah, I thought they would go ahead and put the ball in the air and try to get in the field goal range. If they go 35 yards, they have a chance to put their field goal kicker in there for the win. But Bernsey right now has the ball on the ground.
Richard Dent made the stop. Under a minute we go. Deep sideline, complete to Anthony Carter. That gets them out to their 45-yard line, very close to it. And maybe just short of the first down.
The good thing about that, Tim, is they got the yardage and stop the clock all at the same time without having to use a timeout. They can go back and huddle and get ready for the next series of plays.
3rd and a yard, 51 seconds remaining. Mike Ditka appearing unconcerned. Shotgun again. Walker, good hole to the Bears' 48-yard line. Mark Carrier on the stop. Vikings take a timeout. They have 1 remaining. 46 seconds to play regulation time. Now here's how it went here back in the first quarter. Bears opened it on a 23-yard field goal by Butler. That after, in the opening series, a touchdown called back by a penalty. Then Butler with the win from 51 yards away. Igwe got into the kicking act, making it 6-3 in the second quarter. And then Anderson for the Bears, a nice piece of running, 8 yards to the score. Igwe, his second field goal from 25 yards out, made it 13-9, or 13-6, and then 13-9 with this one in the third quarter. Butler, a 32-yarder, and then Hassan Jones on a fine pass from Wade Wilson to get us tied at 16. Wilson, Dent got him as he released the ball.
Tim, this is a very interesting call. Richard Dent, the defensive lineman there, put pressure on Wilson. Now, if a quarterback throws the ball away while he's being pressured, they call it intentional grounding. Apparently, the officials ruled that there wasn't enough pressure to justify. Here comes Dent, 95. There goes Wilson. Now, there he is. He throws the ball away, and it could very well be called intentional grounding, and it wasn't.
2nd and 10. Intended for Hassan Jones, overthrown. Carrier and Gale, the safeties, picked up the coverage. 3rd and 10. 37 seconds remain. Tom Moore on the sideline. And Jerry Burns, the head coach. Moore, the new offensive boss, and upstairs the offensive coordinator, Bob Schnelker, in communication with Moore. Donald Igwe hoping to get that leg into a football. They need a play on 3rd down. Wilson, a lot of time, now runs out of it, and he is dropped. Richard Dent got him. The coverage downfield was very good by the Bears, as Wilson initially had enough time to throw. Seconds remain. And the Bears take the timeout.
An outstanding defensive series by Richard Dent that time. Tim really forcing Wilson out of the pocket on one play and then coming up with that big play on the scramble, keeping the Bears alive.
Yeah, not only that, he also made the tackle on the first down play when they gave the ball to Walker on the ground.
Yeah. So he told us he thought that he could do some things against the Vikings offensive line, and one of the things he wanted to do was be in a position to be able to, come down the line at times and pursue aggressively, and he certainly did that today.
Well, one timeout remaining for each team with 30 seconds left, and the Vikings punting it, fumbled by Newsom. The Bears will have first down at the 38-yard line, 25 seconds to play. John Roper got in earlier in the day. Newsom may have remembered that. Let's see what kind of pressure he got.
The good snap. He just seemed to take his eye off, and the ball hit him right in the chest and dropped it. It was a good snap, right on target. The attorney took his eye off the ball to him, and that's a big play. The Bears are 9 yards from the field goal.
Kevin Butler.
This for the ball.
by Butler. Rises to the upright, and it is! Unbelievable!
Butler will kick it off. 19-16. Nerve cross. There was Jim Harbaugh trying to make a pass to get them into a decent field goal kicking range. He gets hit from behind. The ball flies up. Studwell just misses intercepting it. Butler, now faced with nailing one from a distance, makes it from 52 yards away. Herschel Walker, the deep man. And Butler again goes on the ground. They don't want Walker with the ball. Steve Jordan has it. He laterals it back. That will not get it done. This ball game is over. The Chicago Bears break the tie. 4 seconds left in the game. A 52-yard field goal by Kevin Butler. And the Bears go to 3-0. The Vikings continue to struggle on the road. A disappointed but classy Jerry Burns congratulates his rival Mike Ditka. Kevin Butler will have his pictures taken for a while and be the subject of many interviews after this game. They're not even letting him off the field. Kevin Butler is mobbed. He had a lot of power in this, Irv.
He could have kicked that ball at least 5 yards farther. He really had a nice drive on it. Big play.
4 field goals on the day for the Bears hero of Game 3 in this NFL season, and they are unbeaten in the NFC Central Division. So for Irv Cross, this is Tim Ryan saying so long from Soldier Field. The final score, the Bears 19, the Vikings 16.